Hi, I'm Wendy Lowy Sloan, and this is What's Up with Wendy's podcast. I just wanted to tell you a little bit about myself. I began my career in New York City as a television producer for talk show legends Phil Donahue and Geraldo Rivera. And for the last decade, I've used these experiences to create my unique style in interviewing hundreds of A-list celebrities, newsmakers, comedians, musicians, reality stars, fitness and nutrition experts, best-selling authors, and so much more. So I hope you enjoy this wide variety on my podcast. I hope you'll share and subscribe. And again, thanks for tuning in. You're listening to What's Up with Wendy. This is part 2 of my 3-part series with Get It Done by Stephanie. Stephanie is here at my house and she's going to take us through reorganizing one of my closets. Stephanie's belief that organization brings inner peace and that it's peace which allows creativity, productivity, and happiness to flourish. You won't want to miss this. So Stephanie finally made it to my house. Get It Done by Stephanie. She's here, and I'm so scared, but I'm walking her up my stairway, and we are doing my hall linen closet, which, as you can see in the pictures, is a disaster. I've tried to organize it a million times. I just don't have it in me. So Get It Done by Stephanie's here. And Stephanie, your first thought upon seeing this closet, tell us.
I'm excited because I see the transformation that's going to happen, and I'm super excited for you.
How can you envision? I can't even imagine because I can't envision it looking at this disaster of a closet.
Because sometimes I feel like sometimes people look at a closet like this and just immediately get overwhelmed because they just don't know where to start. And maybe I don't get overwhelmed because I know this. I take it step by step. So I break it down. And for me at least, it's not overwhelming too because it's not my stuff. But also, when I look at the closet, I know that I have to first and foremost take everything out. And as I'm going to take everything out, I'm going to categorize them so I know what categories, or if you call them, some people call them like items, like for example, suntan lotion, like toiletry backstock, cleaning products. Like those are the kinds of categories that, or you can really name them anything you want that makes sense to you. Feminine products, cleaning products, towels, linens, hardware, light bulbs. Those are the kinds of
things you're finding in the linen closet.
Right, and the categories that I know already are going to be put into it. So anytime anybody gets overwhelmed and looking at any space, literally just start shelf by shelf. You have to take everything out. You have to know what you have. You want to know what are things that you're realistically going to keep. Try and consolidate as much as possible and just refine what you have.
Okay, is there a possibility that you might say this stuff doesn't belong in the linen closet and I move it somewhere else as well? Do you do that?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I will, for example, if I was here by myself, I would take everything out and I would create a pile on the side that I would kind of say to the client once they came back and say, this is things that I don't feel belong here and I feel like they belong someplace else. And if they tell me they feel like it belongs here, I would just ask them questions like, why do you think it belongs here? Because that also will tell me, their answer will also tell me maybe an issue that's going on in other parts of the house. Because sometimes, usually when it comes to organizing, there's a flow throughout the whole house. It's not just usually one single area in a house needs help. Because it can't really be, like the whole house usually needs a level of tweaking so that the whole house can work together for you in like a systematic moving wheel, if that makes sense.
Okay, I got it. So Stephanie's here, Get It Done by Stephanie, and she's now taking things out of my linen closet. I'm scared for this to happen as I watch her do this, and she's so cute and professional with her shirt, Get It Done, and her gloves, and she comes here and she's like all ready to go. Well, how fun is your job though? Seriously, because I'm sure that when you finish and the clients see and they're like, "Oh my God, really? You really transformed it." How fun is that?
I can't even believe that this is what I do for a living because I love it so much. And sometimes as I'm doing a job, it's like, "Oh my gosh, I want this job to end." But honestly, I love every second of it because then I get to go home. I get to see my before and after pictures, which get me so excited. Like, I love it. It's so gratifying for me, at least. And if I'm happy with how the job has come out, I know that my client will, because I am my hardest critic. And hardest or toughest, I don't know, one of those. But if I'm not happy with it, sometimes to a client, or I'm usually always happy with it, but I always feel like there's a way that I can always tweak it a little bit better. But sometimes my clients are like, you know what? From where it started, this is amazing. And sometimes, like, I mean, I'm kind of getting off topic, but when it comes to organizing too, sometimes there's different variations of levels of being organized. So, and that's another conversation, but usually when it's done, and if I'm happy, I know the client will be ecstatic, because I am my hardest, toughest critic.
Okay, I'm watching Stephanie do this. I'm just going to give a little visual to this. So she has these white containers, and we're going to talk about that in the next segment, things that she buys, where she goes to buy them, what are the best things to get organized if you're going to organize yourself and you can't have somebody come organize for you like Stephanie. But she is putting all of my shampoo stuff in one bin, and you're making this look like amazing already. And I have to say that I'm kind of embarrassed for her to go through all this, to see all the junk and stuff that I've collected. But she's going through it like she's been doing this her whole life, which she has been. So I can see how it can be fun now watching you, because it is kind of fun just watching you put all this together.
Yeah, people tend to like to, because so many people are curious. So I do get a lot of people watching me, and then I'll ask them, like, oh, I'm like, do you have a question? Like, no, I just want to watch. Just want to watch and see how you do. And I do love that, because, you know, you learn through osmosis, and I do love transferring my skills anytime possible. Like, I do very much want to also at the end tell people how to maintain the organized space.
And one thing I know, I didn't mean to interrupt you, that I'm going to learn from this is that I probably have way too much stock in certain things.
Yeah.
So I think you're going to save me money in the end, because I'm going to realize that, oh my God, I have 20 face soaps and I have this and I don't need to buy this anymore, because
100%.
When you're not organized, you're not sure of what you have.
100%. And right, so one of the benefits of I love being organized is just know what you have, so that at some point when you run out of whatever it is that you're running out of, whether it's chips or whether it's body soap, go shop your closet. Like, you know, did you know this was there? Yeah, you know,
okay,
like,
so
it's certain things that you just don't realize.
So she doesn't want to say it because she's being too nice, but Get It Done by Stephanie just pulled like a tissue that was left by itself. I don't know if it was used or what, out of the linen closet, and an empty box that's been probably sitting there for 100 years. So we're going to find some major treasures in here.
Yes.
And now she's unraveling things, and so it's really fun. So I'm going to be showing some pictures and taking some pictures, and you guys can all see them on our social media site, so you can kind of see how the process goes. And
I mean, I'm opening everything, like anything that there's like an empty box. So I'm putting it on the side, because I'm like, that's, to me, I think that's garbage. So I'm just putting things on the side and reading through everything. Yes, I do love. You know, people are, yeah, you were saying this before, like, people get embarrassed, you know, and that's sometimes reasons why people don't want me to go into their house, because they're embarrassed of what their space may look like. Every time, yesterday, I'm so happy you're here, but I'm so embarrassed, please don't judge me. A, I never judge. B, I promise you, there's always a situation that I've been in that's worse. And you know what, to be quite honest, if there was a situation where it was the worst, I'll probably be like, this is one of the top ones. And sometimes people are a little bit happy about it. I don't know, but I haven't been in that situation yet. Like, nothing really overwhelms me. Other people's things don't overwhelm me. Well, I don't know why.
Well, what I'm taking away from this is that I have a lot of extra stuff that I probably really don't need watching you do this.
Right, and you will at some point, before we put everything back, I'm going to have you go through each category, and you tell me, I want you to go through the categories. Like right now, for example, once we go, I'm putting together your shampoo and stuff like that and body wash. So I'll have you go through and be like, okay, like what are these things you actually need? Like this is basically done. Can we throw this away? This is full. Like we're going to keep that. I'm going to have you, and when you declutter it by category and you see what you have within that category instead of opening up the closet and decluttering the closet as is, when you break it down into categories, it makes things so much easier and a lot less overwhelming. So
I can, just by watching you do this, I can see how it's not going to be so overwhelming anymore. Because when I look in that closet, and I want to tell you, Stephanie, that I have taken apart this closet and I have pulled everything off the shelf and I put it back and it looks exactly the same every single time I do it.
There's no system. Like people tell that to me all the time too. Like I tried to be organized or get organized and it never stays. And it's not because you don't have the ability to do it. It really sometimes just comes down to you don't have just, the knowledge of what system to create. And that's not your fault that you don't know. It's, that's why I'm here, because I've done 100 times, thousands of times. I know what products work. I know the rhythm of the house to be able to give you an understanding of what version of a system is going to work best for your house and your family and the people that are just the people that live here and the people that participate and what the lifestyle is. So
if you just tuned in, I'm talking to professional organizer. Get It Done by Stephanie. Check out her Instagram, making your hectic life easier using highly functional, best practical techniques combined with unique strategies to find the organizational solution in any single part of your home. So she is here in my house now. This is part one. She is devouring, taking apart my linen closet. And she is making it look good just by pulling things off. And she has these white bins that she's putting things in. And I can tell you some of the categories are the soaps, the shampoos, the cleaning supplies, the suntan lotions. Well, I can see that I have way too many suntan lotions. So now I know when I go to the store next time, I do not need to buy 2 or 3 more because I have them already. So I can totally get why this makes your life and makes you feel better. Well, she just pulled out salt out of my linen closet. I'm not really sure why it's in there, but it's in there.
And that's funny because a lot of times I'll be doing this and I'll ask the client, I'm like, why? I don't understand. But like, for example, someone had Q-tips in their kitchen the other day. I did a kitchen on, I don't know what day it is, but it was the other day. And I was like, Q-tips, and I pulled it aside. I'm like, I don't understand, like, why this is in the kitchen. Like, but she uses it to clean, like, really small things in, like, water bottles and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. So let's make sure that that's kept there. So sometimes when I don't understand, it doesn't necessarily mean it doesn't belong. It just means that I've never seen that before and that works for that person. Maybe salt, you want it up here because you get a lot of sore throats.
Okay, so you hit it. So the reason I have bags of salt, and I'm going to tell you because she's wondering why salt's in my linen closet, is because my daughter, before she had her tonsils out, she was getting a ton of sore throats. And I would always say when she's in college, please gargle with salt water. Please gargle with salt water. So when I grabbed a bunch of salt, and I was meant to put it in her bag when she went back to school, so she would always have it with her in case they didn't have salt. And it's been sitting in my linen closet probably because it was in the back, and I didn't see it, and I didn't remember that it was there. So that's the reason for that.
And that makes sense. And now I'm going to put it with healthcare, and we will declutter it and throw it out when you're ready.
You see that? Now she's already on shelf 2, and things are already looking really good. So if you just tuned in, professional organizer, Get It Done by Stephanie. She's here. This is part 1. Taking apart my linen closet. You're going to see the before and after pictures, and I can understand now why this makes you have so much more peace and tranquility in your life by being organized. It really makes a big difference. And I know we talked about this in our first segment when I was introducing you, but what is the most wanted place to be organized in someone's house?
That is amazing that you say that, because I literally just did a survey on my site, on my Instagram, asking that exact question. Like, what's the number one